Hey, Grady, how's preparations been going for y'all as y'all get ready for the Vikings this week?
It's been going good. It's been solid. Excited to go up there and compete, man. I think they got a really, really good team. They're having a great season, and just a great challenge for us going forward. And ready to see what we got.
Hey, what's the morale of the unit coming off of the performance from last week and trying to take that?
We feel good. We feel encouraged for sure, man. We feel like we want to have one of our best outings as a defense. Highly productive game for us as a defense. So we just want to keep that up, keep that momentum going. Draw from a positive from coming off a tough loss, and find a way to do more. But we definitely feel well and feel encouraged, and we feel motivated to continue to do better and put out even more better tape.
And when you look at the Vikings, what do they present with the receivers they got, tight end, running back?
Yeah, for sure, man. They got challenges at every level. Two really good receivers, a good quarterback that's been hot this year, reviving his career, doing a good job. They got a group of tight ends that they use in multiple ways as far as getting things going in the run game, and then obviously Hawkinson in the pass game, and the other guys can catch too. And then Aaron Jones been doing his thing for a long time in the league, so a guy that is a slasher in the run game, can find open holes and can hit the home run when it's there. So we got to be disciplined on every level. We got to be able to make adjustments needed, necessary to whatever formations we deem need certain adjustments, and it's going to be a big tester for everybody on every level.
And Raheem suggested that it might be a hostile environment with Kirk coming to his former home, or it might be a friendly environment. How does that translate for you guys? What's your expectation, and how do you think Kirk's going to handle that kind of attention?
I think going to the environment, man, being able to play there twice, man, I think it's a really, really nice stadium. I think the fans are going to show up regardless. They having a winning season, and they got good fan support. So I think it's going to be, good fan support regardless. However they receive them. It's going to be what it is. But, he Atlanta Falcon now. We're happy to have him on our side and happy to go out there and, go to war with him. So however it turn out, I'm sure we're going to be ready however it go. Kirk will be ready however way it go. And I think the main focus that we got in this building is just trying to get back on a winning trail. And however they got to look, offense, defense, special teams, that's what our focus on. And the crowd, that's definitely a part of the game, just another part of the game that everywhere we go is going to be, hostile.
Hey, Grady, just to kind of follow up on something you said, you guys came into the season with so many expectations, and a few weeks ago, we're sitting pretty in first place. 3-game losing streak now. What about the psyche of this team? What has to happen?
Every expectation we have that you mentioned, we still have. You mentioned being in first place, we still are. Everything we want to do is still ahead of us. We feel good, but we know we got to. The urgency is up, to get a win. None of the games that we dropped the past 3 games was on purpose, So we definitely going to do the things we need to do to put our best foot forward to win games. But the psyche and the expectations, the whatever we expected from ourselves at the beginning has not wavered, And that's the special thing about this group, especially with Raheem leading the forefront. He keeps us all on track and keep us in the present and stuff like that, and knowing that everything that we want is still ahead of us. But it is up to us to go out there and perform, and go get a win and get back on the right track, and that's what we plan to do.
What do you see from Kirk, just in terms of how he's handling this, being in this situation, and any more pressure on him now than a couple weeks ago?
I don't think anybody can put any more pressure on Kirk than he has for himself, man, just to see the way he go about his business day in and day out. And he's carried us through this season when we was figuring a lot of things out on defense, and he's had some really good games where he willed us to the end. He's somebody who showing up day in and day out, putting in work, and he's just having a hard time right now. But at the end of the day, we still got 5 games left to go, and nothing saying that we can't catch fire. He can't catch fire and light it up like he's been doing, And I don't think anybody else, on earth was gonna have a higher standard for Kirk Cousins than he has for himself, and that's why we love having him as our quarterback, as our leader, and I think he's gonna respond very well.
He said that there weren't any major upheavals of things over the bye week, just little tweaks. What little tweaks were made for you guys to be able to have the pass rush effort that you did last week?
I think maybe just diving into some details as far as how we set up certain fronts, maybe, or just the effort and the intensity, magnifying that to guys in particular of what we can do better, what things we can do better. Everybody doing a little self-evaluation on the detail of whether we got to run a TE game or ET game, just the detail of it. And what it's supposed to look like, and when you're in training camp, you're repping these things, repping them. But as the season go on, you kind of disperse. You're throwing a lot of different things into the defense. So just trying to refocus on the small things, I think, and the intensity level with what Rob bring when he come over to work with us on the defensive side. So just tighten up ship a little bit.
Do you feel like you've unlocked something to find that consistency y'all been trying to find?
I think when you go out and you have good production on the quarterback like we did last game, I think confidence is something super important in pass rush. And I definitely think that instills some more confidence to everybody involved, guys like insiders, outside linebackers, inside linebackers that's going to be rushing and seeing us get it done and getting the hits, stuff like that. Everybody working together, I think it's definitely going to lead us to be able to have some more production.
It's a little bit frustrating though for like you guys because it's like for so long like the defense kind of wasn't right there, but now the offense isn't kind of right there. And it's like you're just like so close to putting it all together.
I wouldn't say frustrated. You got to keep pushing. It's a long season for a reason. And there's going to be waves of ups and downs, and you just never know how everything gonna go and turn out. And like I said kind of earlier, sometimes when we was struggling, the offense had to outscore teams. And when we got better on defense and got some more stops, then we got to take it to another level so we can hold teams back. So it's a three-phase game, everybody involved, and team game. And at the end of the day, all that matters is the win. And so you can't get frustrated. You just got to keep pushing because you're never gonna know when it's gonna be your day that you got to be able to do more.
Is it annoying for you guys to listen and hear all the outside noise about there should be a quarterback change, there's a first-round pick sitting right there? Like, do you guys get mad at that because you're like, we know what we know?
And a waste of energy to get mad. It's wasted energy. Why would we get upset? If you get upset about what people say outside the building, man, I mean, you'll be mad all the time. You're never gonna please everybody. And at the end of the day, everybody who's here in the building, we know what we got, and we excited to go out there and put our best foot forward, and let everything else take care of itself. But wasted energy on getting mad about somebody talking on Twitter or reports about this and that. I mean, it's wasted energy. Nobody says anything positive on that stuff anymore anyway. So it is what it is.
Those games up front, the stunts and the twists and all, what's the difference between a good one and a bad one? Is it more about timing? Is it more about angles? I mean, how do you know when you're doing it right?
I think you said it both. Timing sometimes, angle sometimes, depending on the sets that you get from offensive linemen, and because it's really like a craftsmanship to it a lot, gamesmanship, because it's easy to say this guy should take 4 steps, this guy should take 2 steps, and every time that's going to work, but that's not the case every time, right? So sometimes it's just a feel for it, and that comes with repetition, working with guys that you're familiar with, and also guys who understand, the gamesmanship of running different games, and that's kind of the things we talked about when we said like, what did we tweak or what do we focus on? Just the detail in that, and it's not a one-way answer for that, and that's kind of how I feel about that one.
In terms of your responsibility, not yours necessarily, but a defensive lineman responsibility on those, how much of it do you know as you're going to the line of scrimmage, and how much of it is determined by what you see from them once you're down there and what they do?
I would say 90% of it is know you before the ball snap, what you want to do, and there's some things that can happen post-snap in a split second that can alter different steps that's taken or points of contact. But for the most part, you know what you're going to do as they set in the formation up and where you want to run your game from and stuff like that. And it could be many different ways, but we have the idea what we want to do when we see the formation.
You're sort of touching on it, but it seems like Arnold has come along the last few weeks in particular. What sort of things are you seeing in him that's allowed him to have the production he's had?
I think playing with a high motor, increased urgency, trusting his technique, trusting his ability to be his best self and being sure of himself, and just playing fast and cutting it loose, And I think that's been a big step for him in this part of the season we at now, and I think you're just going to continue to see his confidence grow his production continued to grow as he, just be himself and go out there and just try to, wreak havoc and do what he got to do.
I'm not Minnesota before, but overall in your career, where has been like the toughest place for you to play? Would you say?
That's a hard one to ask, man. So many places are, intense and different levels of difficulty can come from, the elements or. I'll say some of the more intense places that I've enjoyed playing at. I always enjoyed going to Seattle. The Lumen Field was always, pumping whenever we played out there. San Fran's a cool place to go play. And these are places that's far because I don't play them often. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere we go in a division going to be tough every time we go play most of the time. So, fans show up and show out, man. NFL, man, got great fandom. And as a competitor, you want to go in these hostile environments and put your best foot forward, So I think last time I played in Minnesota was maybe COVID year, like 2020. And then 19, we went up there. I think that's maybe their first year in the new stadium or something like that. Well, I don't know if it's the first one, but it was. I remember it being cool, and I watched them on TV and stuff. So they fans locked in with the skull chant and everything like that. So ready to get going.
Hey, Coach Zac, what are some of the Coach Norris discussed zero blitz and bluffing and getting ready for all the stuff they're trying to do? How's that going, preparing for that?
Yeah, no, it's good. You definitely, try to get ahead of it a little bit, even dating back to the bye, just knowing what was coming up. So had some coaches jump on it, still working through some of those things. They obviously have a great, Coach Flores does an unbelievable job with those guys. They've got great talent across the board. The scheme is good. So we got to be definitely sound and have, the right answers for those things if they do present themselves. Sometimes they show up more often than not, but you definitely got to have sound answers. And so definitely the preparation's been good so far. We've got a long way to go to get ready for these guys, though.
How's Kurt doing after the Florida Deception game? How's he bouncing back and dealing with it?
Yeah, Kirk is Kirk. He's played a lot of football. He's been through a lot of highs and lows, just like all these guys that have played this long in the NFL. You don't want those games to happen, as an individual effort, but Kirk's going to keep swinging. He's going to keep shooting, and he's just going to get back at it and get back to work, which is exactly what he's done. Haven't felt anything different with Kirk. He's the same guy every single day, and so he'll bounce back, and we know he will. And he's approaching things just like he does every other week.
In the red zone issue last week, what were the things there? And is it as simple as throwing the ball to Kyle Pitts?
Well, yeah. Well, he's a big guy. Yeah, no, there's definitely things that we'll always continue to look at in terms of where we can be better as coaches, providing the right answers, execution, all those things that go into it. But to pinpoint just one, simple thing would be kind of out of turn. So we're going to continue to just do the best we can, because really that's situational football, third down and red zone, and taking care of the ball is where we're kind of stopping ourselves. We're able to move the football very efficiently first and second down. It's just making sure that we are on the screws with situational football, third down, red zone, scoring points when we get down there, scoring touchdowns when we get down there, making sure that does not happen again.
Is it difficult to balance looking back at October and how productive the offense is, and then November where they're just very different?
Yeah, everything in the NFL is so week to week based. There's like the Tampa game, that feels a long time ago. Even the Dallas game feels a long time, so you're just so locked in on the next opponent and, how we can attack the next opponent. You flush the previous game. There's certainly things that, we feel like we've done well, and there's things, like I said, really situationally that we got to be better. So we're looking at all those things and making sure we have the right solutions.
How long was the voice memo you got after that game, after the 4-interception game?
No, we actually talked on Monday, just afternoon or Monday morning. No voice memo, so we got just cut to it, just in person. Had a good conversation about the game and where I can be better for him and vice versa, all those things that we really clean up every single Monday. So it was nothing different. Obviously, we just addressed everything and flushed it as soon as we walked out of the building and got a fresh start, obviously, starting on Tuesday.
Seems like the common word today has been execute. Like, we have to execute. So educate me about like why it seems like it's been so hard to execute, because it seems like, oh, you should just execute the play. Like, what is?
Yeah.
what is the disconnect?
I don't know. I don't think it's because you look at the Saints game, and obviously we were moving the football up and down the field. In that game, just didn't score points, and some of those things were the penalties that knocked us back a little bit. You look at the Denver game, like we said, a couple weeks ago, that was just total outlier. Put that on us as coaches. There was multiple things going on in that game that we just didn't do well. I thought the other day we could move the football. Obviously, the turnovers, we can't have those if you want to win football games like that, knowing it was going to be a grinded out type of a game versus a good defense and a just good overall team and a hardball team that it's going to be a grind. So, there's good things that are happening within the game. We just got to make sure we clean up, like I said, the situational football, making sure that's a lot better than it's been recently, and then just obviously clean up the turnovers.
And that, especially with Kirk, like, were you guys able to pinpoint exactly what has been going on over the last few days and what the fix is for that?
Yeah, each play is its own entity, and it's so hard to just say like there's no real common themes with some things. There's one-off plays that, shoot, I don't know what happened on this play. I don't know what happened on this play call. I don't know what, there's so many things that can go on throughout the course of a football game that there's typically not that many just direct trends, and it's one-off situations. So, you're trying to find all those solves. You're looking back at things, and then a lot of times you come back and you say, oh, man, that was just a bad play here, bad play there, a bad play call here. So you just kind of keep it moving, and that's the way the NFL works.
Do you think it's unfair, the amount of blame and pressure that he's been getting, especially like from the outside? It's like he threw 4 picks, but maybe there's a route not run or a block or something.
Sure, yeah. Without getting too far into some things that go on, schematically and whatnot. Absolutely, the quarterback's always going to get too much praise and too much criticism depending on how the game goes. So, I thought the New Orleans game he played really well. Obviously, there was one, the interception towards the end of the game is what everybody sees, but for the most part, that game was pretty clean. Like I mentioned, the Denver game, put that one on us, and then the things that we can clean up from last week. But I haven't viewed it as much of a consistent theme. I think that maybe other people have, but it is what it is. That's your guys' job, and it's our job to coach these guys, and it's those guys' job to perform on Sundays, and that's certainly what comes with the territory.
Kirk himself has said a couple times now that he feels like he's pushing too much, he's doing too much, he's being too decisive. How do you help a quarterback out when he's feeling in such a way?
Yeah, I think you just shoot, and you just keep shooting your shot, and you just go play football. You trust your instincts, you trust your reads, you trust all the things that got you to this point, your preparation, everything that goes into it. So can't speak for Kirk too much on that, but I know as with all the guys, it's just go play football. Just trust that your preparation from Monday to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all that work that you put in is for a reason. Go shoot your shot on Sunday and trust your instincts.
One thing that's been said about Kirk is how he's the same guy. His process, it kind of carries himself, what people see, yet that doesn't always translate on the field. Is that baffling to try to get a sense of how a guy can be so consistent in his preparation, not always as consistent on the field?
Yeah, I think football is a hard game. That quarterback position is extremely hard. There's a lot of guys that get humbled. There's guys that get drafted in the first round that last 2 seasons and then they're gone. There's so many things that go into the quarterback position, and to say that you're just going to be striving every single week with that consistent performance is really unrealistic. There's only a handful of guys in the history of the game that, when you look at the entirety of a season, you're saying, oh man, he had one bad game here, one bad game. Playing quarterback is really hard. So it's certainly not all, like we were kind of just mentioning a couple minutes ago, it's not all on Kirk. It's on us as coaches. It's on the rest of the guys executing, being in the right spot at all the right times. So there's a lot that goes into 22 moving parts on a football field all at one time. Certainly can't put everything just on the quarterback because everybody sees the quarterback. Doesn't mean that it's directly just on him.
His production on plays where he's not passing the ball beyond 10 yards from the line of scrimmage is really, really strong this year. I think it has been. But beyond 10 yards, it's it's dropped off a bit from where he's been over his career. And I'm curious if there's anything that you see, and obviously offenses vary and all that, but is there anything you see that would explain that?
Yeah, nothing that really sticks out. I think he's thrown the football well, and just continue to find those ways that we can move the football, whether it's finding explosives down the field. There's certainly been times when that has worked. I don't know the exact stats like maybe you do, but I do know our quick passing game has been efficient, and just got to continue to expand on that as well as find those explosives when we can.
How many points do you need to win this week?
I don't know. I mean, whatever it takes to win. Might take 3, might take 10, might take 25. You never know. So
I kind of say that facetiously in the context of, do you expect it would take a shootout to win this type of game?
It's so hard to predict those things. I mean, those games you can go in thinking it's going to go one way and it goes complete opposite. NFL football, I mean, it is hard every single week. It could be a grinded out game like last week. It could be a shootout. To say that any of us know how it's going to go would be a little bit out of line.
As you guys prepare for Brian Flores' defense, how much do you lean on the fact that Kirk is practicing against that group as much as he did last year?
Yeah, I think some for sure. He has, previous experience, and obviously Kirk takes 1,000 notes. He's got his notepad. He's got everything from his time that he spent there going against them in training camp and an off-season program. So we'll certainly lean on Kirk's, overall feel for the defense as well as what we're seeing on tape this season, knowing that they've got different personnel, they've got all those different things. They're adjusting just like every other defense and offense. They're evolving. So we'll certainly take what Kirk knows as well as what we're seeing on tape this season.
After looking back at the 2 3rd-and-1 sweeps, did you feel like those were, one execution away from being the right call, or you just wanted those 2 back?
Yeah, I would say the first one we got mixed up on the play call, not to get too far into it, and then the second one I did not love the look that they ended up giving us. Obviously, you call a play and you feel convicted about it, but after the result of it, you're like, well, that was stupid. So you like it when you call it. They played a different defense than anticipated. And then, like I mentioned, the first one, we just got a little bit mixed up there with the motion.
Zach, this is a bit random, but several weeks ago, I think it was after the win against the Bucks on the road, you mentioned Kirk's knee bend in his back knee. I'm just curious why, like, what that does for him.
Yeah, that's, really where all your power is. Whether you're a baseball player and you're a batter or a pitcher, you get into that loaded position on your, inside half of your back leg. That's where all your power's at. So certainly that's stuff that you emphasize with every quarterback, dating back to Pop Warner football, and Kirk's heard that a bunch, with Coach Yates and DJ, our quarterback coaches. So we'll continue to emphasize that, knowing that when that is right, he's got a lot of juice still. So we just got to make sure the fundamentals are clean at all times.
Is there anything you can do as the OC to help manage what Kirk is kind of going through right now, coming off one of the worst games, and then also going back to face the Vikings, just all the emotions that are also going into that game?
Yeah, we're trying to set up everything as clean and clear, for him to have a clear mind to just go play football. Knowing that obviously, like you mentioned, it is a big week for him to go back, but the way that he approaches things, he's such a steady guy. Like, I don't think he's looking too far ahead or thinking about what that's going to look like. He's so locked in on his preparation every single day that I'm sure once he shows up on Sunday and gets in that stadium, it'll be some cool feelings for him, which will be a lot of fun to see him play in that spotlight. I know he'll be at his best when his best is required. So we're excited for him, but certainly want to make sure that everything is just as clear as we can for him going into Sunday, where he can just go play football.
For any quarterback who's 36 people start keeping a close eye on health issues, especially when you're coming off a major injury. You said he's throwing the football well. Some others have, on this past week, I saw Matt Ryan had some questions about the zip on the ball floating a little bit, perhaps giving defensive backs an extra half second to jump in front of receivers. Are you confident? He said he feels good. Are you confident in the health side of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it just goes back to decisiveness, being decisive when you do cut it loose. Certainly those things happen with quarterbacks. There might be times where, you're not as convicted on a throw, and it shows by the way the football comes out. So all those things go into it. I think you guys could ask Kirk, exactly how he's feeling, but from our perspective, nothing's really changed there.
Would the picks be a concern if it was like a trend? Like if he had like 3 games where he has 3 plus picks? You know what I mean? Like just because this is kind of a one-off right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. You know, it's such a, you know, those games, those 3-hour windows, you know, one thing happens here and there and it can flip an entire narrative on, you know, a season, and understand that comes with the territory. I personally threw 4 picks in one season 2 times, so I've been down that road, know what that feels like. It's not a great feeling, but shoot or shoot, you just keep swinging, you keep playing football. He certainly has faced a ton of adversity in his time, so expect him to handle it just like he always has. Don't want to talk about those 4 pick games.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was it back-to-back though, or no?
It's not back-to-back
Okay.
games, but in the same season 4 times, so not great.
So you guys have something to relate.
Yeah.
Bijan had 26 carries season high, I'm not sure correct, but was that something where you saw specifically was standing that you wanted to exploit, or is that something where you like largely big picture he's going to be paying more of the ball?
Yeah, again, it's flow, feel for the game. Coach Petrie does a great job, you know, understanding how Bijan's seeing it. Hey, Tyler's running really well here. I'm going to roll with Tyler. I completely have faith in him. We want to get Bijan as many touches as we can. It felt like that game was going to be a type of game where we were going to need to rely on the run game, you know, to really be effective moving the football. And so, you know, I didn't know how many carries he had or how many touches, but I just knew that when he was out there, he was productive, did a great job. And just like he's done all season long, every time he has the football in his hands, he can do something special.
So, Jessie, coming off this past Sunday, man, how can you it's tough game, great game defensively. How can you summarize, you know, what you take away from it?
Yeah, you know, obviously, you know, when you turn over the ball 4 times, you know, it's hard to win this league. But as a defense, you know, as a leader on the defense, I always like, what could we have done better, you know, to put Kirk in another situation to get the ball back and go execute. We know that's not normal Kirk, and he identified that. You know, that's just is what it is. And you know, as a defense, you don't come in here and be like, oh, we played good enough to win that game. I know Kirk said that in his interview, but as a defense, we're like, how can we figure a way out to get another turnover? You know, get another 3 and out to get them the ball. So, yeah, tough situation, but you know, great teams that we're trying to get to. We're trying to be a great team. Great teams figure out how to win those games, and whether that was the 2-point conversion, we could have, you know, myself could have got the ball out, and then we're chasing a 2-point lead rather than, you know, a 5-point lead at the end of the game, or 3-point lead or whatever it was. So yeah, just different scenarios you try to put yourself in, and you still go look in the mirror and how could I have done something better to impact that game? Something that I need to continue to do is make plays, and so that's something that I did with my time. You know, the off days, reflecting on the last game, and how could we have you know, created another turnover. So that's the message, and you know, it's time to move on.
Coach Morris spoke a little bit about some of the tweaks and adjustments that you guys made during the bye going into this past week, and obviously, again, you guys had a phenomenal defensive performance. Mm-hmm. What are some of the biggest positives that you take away from this game as it relates to things that you guys implemented that worked the way that you schemed it?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing was the sacks. You know, we had 4 or 5 sacks. That all of it wasn't just, you know, Grady doing this whole spin move or whatever it was. It was rushing coverage, working together. So, you know, shout out to our D-line. You know, they get all the credit. But, you know, as a whole defense, we know as a DBs, if we do our job at a high level, being able to pass off routes and stuff like that, it'll create more opportunities for our D-line to have success. So it was good to see continue to build on that. Something that obviously been a huge emphasis is getting our rush plans together. So it's coming to light. You know, this season is a constant, you know, growth state of mind, and I think we're heading in the right direction.
Hey, Jessie, the Vikings lead the league in completions over 20 yards, long plays, big plays, whatever you want to call it. How challenging is that in the context of what has to happen?
Yeah, we just got to identify, you know, when they want to take those shots. You know, they do a good job of, you know, setting it up with the motions and stuff like that, and they got a really good back in Aaron Jones where they run the ball, and the next thing you know, there's a jet motion, and then there's shots, 2-man routes, sometimes 3-man routes, and you got number 3 over there, you got, 18 over there who's taking the top off. And I think if we do a good job of taking that away, we'll have a good chance of winning this football game. So it'll be key.
When you're looking at this Vikings offense, how much attention does Justin Jefferson command in your preparation?
Yeah, he definitely does. Obviously, he's one of the top receivers in this league, who isn't just a route runner type of guy that can just catch possession type of catches. He's taking the top off, and so is number 3. So just always having as a safety, just always having a key. Where is 18 at? Okay, we're in this coverage. Where is 18? Where is our weakness? Just like anything else, when you're playing against any type of receiver that can take the top off and can create a explosive play, just knowing where he is. It's no secret recipe to stopping 18, but it's just you got to make sure you stay on top and know where he's at all times.
Is there a particular way that distinguishes him, Jefferson, from other receivers?
You say, is there a difference?
And what makes him special?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with him is, like I said, he's not just a possession, catch type of guy. He can take the top off. He can, run a comeback. He can run a dagger. And then the scariest part is, I think, that I learned from being with Jamar Chase is when they get the ball in their hands, what they do. And he's very dynamic when he catches the ball. He gets a catch and run type of play, and it usually turns into, you see these 80-yard touchdowns or whatever it is. He does a really good job of making the first guy miss and getting some yak. So that'll be key. Just know where he is, and he's going to get his catches. He'll catch the ball, but limiting those yards after he catches the ball, I think, will be key.
Hey Jesse, what are you learning about Kirk Cousins just in terms of dealing with the adversities that they're facing on offense and him in particular?
Yeah, it's Kirk. There's always eyes on him. I'm a guy that I'm always watching Kirk throughout the week to kind of see what his preparation is like, and to be honest, it's the same Kirk. Whether we're having a great game, whether we're having he's coming off one of his worst games, it's still the same Kirk. He's still processing. Throughout the week, he's still got his hoodie on. On Wednesdays, he's got his little hat on, his Slim Shady type of look, and he's just back to the process, back to grinding. And I think it's really good that we have a leader like that can set the example, so that all our younger guys, receivers, whoever it is, can see that and help this team out.
If you're one to study quarterbacks, what are you seeing from Sam Darnold and what's allowed him to have the year that he had?
Yeah, I think he's playing free, and it's like I said, it's not a lot of complicated throws or anything that he's doing. I just think that he's finally able to feel comfortable in himself, and he's got a good run game behind him, and then he's got 2 really good receivers along with a tight end that can catch and run with the football. So very impressed with how he's came off of some adversity that he's faced early in his career. I played against him when he was with the Jets. When I don't know what they were saying about him then, but he's done a really good job. I got a lot of respect for guys that are able to come out of that phase, whatever they were going through. These people are saying that he's this, he's that, he's a bust, and then he comes out and have a season that he's having. Just says a lot about him and the pro that he is. So excited to go against him. Hopefully he can throw us some picks.
You guys have been pretty good, a pretty good second half defensive team, and particularly AJ's been put on some of those receivers and shut them down in the second half. What have you seen in the adjustments that he's making and what he's able to do?
Yeah, we just got a really smart coaching staff. When we go into halftime, there's no panic or anything. We go over, plays that have hurt us, in the past weeks, or plays that showed up in the first half, and we just nail it in the head right there. Like I said, we just got really great coaches that are able to present to what are we being dealt with for this week, or the first half, or whatever you want to say. They do a really good job of having a clear plan of what our second half game plan will be. So it's obviously it goes to the players as well, being able to digest what we're hearing at halftime and then going out there and putting it on the field.
I'm sure coming off a bye, you feel fresher than the other team. You might have an advantage The second week, is there still some sort of benefit that you feel from the bye, or do you just feel the body feels the same way it has all season?
Yeah, I mean, all of it's for me is the same. You know, you come off a bye, you come off a loss, you come off a win. It's all in your mind to be able to reset yourself, reset your whole, you know, everyone around you to be able to come out there and get ready to play. You know, at this time of the year, I don't care if you had a bye, you know, last week or the week before, your body's not at 100%. And if you tell your mind your body's hurting, you're going to be hurting. So just having that mind, that strong mindset, and being able to reset after each week, I don't think that really is a conversation that we've been having.
What's in your hat?
Shoot, I don't know. Maybe some food. I just had some lunch. I don't know. You tell me.
No, like the logo.
Oh, it's just a Falcons thing, ain't it? Yeah.
You looked at it, don't worry.
I'm like, dang, hold up, no?
Looking at it, it says ATL. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a hat I got from the EQ.
So Bijan, and off the top, you know, I'd like to get your thoughts and perspectives coming off of a tough loss, you know, last week. You know, what are your thoughts? What are your takeaways? What are your pros going into your next game?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like you said, it was a tough loss. You know, for us, you know, it's always hard to, you know, win games when, you know, you have some turnovers. You know, that's just the nature of the game. And, you know, I think we did a lot of things right on the offense, you know, looking back at the film. But there's obviously some stuff that we got to clean up with the run game, pass game, like just all over for us to be, you know, successful going on in the future. But I think, you know, we just had to take a step back this week on Monday, Tuesday, and, you know, really watch what was going on, or because it's been, you know, we haven't scored we only scored one touchdown, I think, in 2 games. So it's like, you know, that's not good offensive football. But obviously we want to go back to it and see what's going on so we can, you know, get back to getting in the end zone.
Is there a pattern that you guys are seeing in those red zone moments? What's been that drop off from previous in the season? Yeah,
I mean, just, you know, there's been a lot of penalties, you know, been hurting us down there, and, you know, just the execution that we want. Sometimes it's been just lack of execution, but, you know, we even said this week, you know, we don't want to settle. You know, we love Koo, but, you know, if we can put the ball in the end zone and then see Koo after we, you know, score touchdowns, that's the main goal. But, you know, we just got to just eliminate our you know, self habits of, you know, those penalties, and, you know, when we get there, like we gotta just stand tough and understand that, you know, whatever play we call, run or pass, you know, we got to do it with a lot of discipline and technique, and, you know, get the ball in the end zone.
I imagine for Kirk, he's been the same type of guy, same preparation, but obviously this is going to be a big game for him coming back to the place where he was. Where do you think those emotions just are for the team and for him?
Yeah, I mean, even for him and for all of us, like, you know, this is the biggest game because it's the next game for us, and, you know, we look at every opponent the same, and, you know, we obviously want to win every game. So, you know, we're going to treat them like, you know, this is going to be our biggest game of the year because it's the next game. But, you know, I think for us, like, we understand, you know, he played there, but and the crowd's going to be all, you know, probably more rowdy than most weeks. But, you know, we're going to go out here and prepare for that and understand that, you know, we can't let those kind of games affect us anymore, and we can't let the crowd, you know, get in our way, or, you know, like in Denver we had you know, snap issues and stuff like that. So, you know, we're gonna get it all handled out this week, and so when we get to Minnesota, it won't be an issue.
You're having some of your busiest workloads of your still young career.
Mm-hmm.
The previous coaching staff had, you know, right here would talk about trying to save you for a playoff there. That's obviously not the strategy now. How do you like getting more and more carries, being active also in the passing game?
Yeah, man. I mean, like I always say, like, I just do whatever I can to help us as an offense, help us as a team, and, you know, if it's what it was last week and what we got to keep doing, then if we're gonna get wins, that's what we got to do. But, you know, I just trust whatever they have in the plan, whatever Zach has, whatever Coach Petrie has, and, you know, I just go out there and, play my hardest, play my heart out, and just trust God that He can protect me and get me out healthy and let me play my best football from week to week. But yeah, man, I mean, thank God I feel great. My body feels good, after a day like that. But yeah, if that's what it takes, and I mean that's what we got to do. And obviously I have Tyler too, so me and Tyler will play off each other, the right way, and we trust each other to do great things when we have the ball in our hands or we don't. But yeah, man, that's what it is from here on out.
Are there ever moments like on a drive, it's you're in the huddle and Kirk calls a play and it's the fourth or fifth carry of the drive for you, where you're almost a little surprised, like, oh, really, again? Or is there anything like that at all? No, not at all. That's what they're expecting of me, and I can't like you'll never complain about getting the football for any player, but if that's what it takes, like then it's me, the O-line, the O-line and myself, and everybody's job to try to get the ball in the end zone and get those first downs and get those explosive plays, because that's why he's asking me and the guys to run the ball that much, is to find those creases and eventually get the ball in the end zone.
Hey, Bijan, this Vikings defenses that you played this year, how do the Vikings rank in terms of the challenge mentally, the disguises and things that they do on defense?
Yeah. I mean, they do a lot of different things. They're going to try to make, especially the running back, uncomfortable back there when it comes to pass protection. Yep, and blitz pickups. And they do a lot of different things. I respect the defensive coordinator a lot for what he does and how he disguises and manipulates one side of the field to bring another. And he does a really good job with that. And I think this defense, they run they're just swarmed to the ball. They're really good at attacking the ball. I think they have like 16 or 18 interceptions on the season. Yeah, 18 interceptions and like 8 fumbles. So like they create turnovers. So we understand what we're getting into when it comes to that. So it's more so on us to be disciplined and be in the right spots. And in the run game, pick up the right blocks and break tackles and get vertical, because they play really good team ball, and we understand that, and we play teams that play kind of their similar style of defense, so that's what we're gonna go out here and prepare for and attack that.
Imagine you were disappointed your Longhorns are coming to town.
Oh yeah, I know, man. Like I wish it was next week. Or like, why this week? I can't. Yeah. Oh yeah, I wish it was next week. But I'm excited that they're going to come in Atlanta. I mean, obviously, I think they're going to win the game. I think it's just hard to beat a team twice in college. And I know Sark and the guys are going to be prepared for it. But yeah, we're going to see what happens out there in the stadium.
When you look at how this offense was performing in October at the tape, and then you look at the last 3 weeks, what do you think has been the biggest issue you see that needs to change going into Sunday?
It's hard to narrow it down to one thing. I think in a broad sense, we're moving the ball, but it's not translating into enough points, and just finishing down in the red zone and finding ways to, finish off drives. And it's easier said than done, and we've all got areas we need to improve on, and just got to find a way to bounce back, find a way to win.
What's been the mentality this week with Kirk returning to Minnesota? Raheem said you want to address the elephant in the room, but obviously there's other things he probably wants to clean up, decide, even though he's going back to the Vikings.
Yeah, I know. With Kirk, been the consummate professional since he got here, the guy you have the utmost trust in, and has done a lot of really good things for us. So we all got to improve, and it's a team sport. We all got to find a way to win and pick each other up, and it's part of being a professional too. So we'll get back to work and find a way to go get a win in a tough environment.
You've worked with rookie quarterbacks, and then you're also now working with a veteran quarterback like Kirk Cousins. So what is kind of the difference of dealing with a quarterback that has so much experience, that is coming off maybe not such a good stretch, compared to maybe a rookie that would be going through this?
Personally, for the most part, I'm focused on doing my job really well. You want to be uplifting and be supportive of your teammates in all scenarios when things are going well or, not as well as you'd like. And the reality is we've lost a couple games in a row now, and we were in a good place, and now it's tightened up, and we got to all pick each other up and find a way to win.
I know that the sense of urgency is kind of always there from you guys, but you just mentioned it. You had a comfy lead before. Now that's kind of diminished a little bit. When does the sense of urgency kick in a little bit more?
I think it's always been there. I think, like I said, the issue is we just haven't found ways to finish off games at the end. Obviously, the Denver one didn't go the way we wanted at all, but we've been there. It's been close. It's just finding a way to get it done, and whether that's everyone doing their part and executing on a specific thing, one thing kind of holding us up here and there. We got to find a way to get it done. That's, like I said, part of being a professional and why you come out here and practice during the week. So that's our focus.
Does it give you any more confidence at all, the fact that you are talking about, you guys have been there, you've proven that you can get there in close games?
Yeah, definitely. It's hard to give exact reasons of why. You feel like you've got the same approach earlier in the season and things are going well, and then unfortunately not the last few weeks. But the thing that always comes back to that you got to do regardless is you got to go to work. You got to focus on the things that need improving and try to knock those out so they're not an issue in the future.
I thought it was really interesting. Grady Jarrett said that there's no one out there putting more pressure on themselves than Kirk Cousins. He puts the most pressure on him. What about him do you notice that he puts so much pressure on him to play so good?
I think it's just really obvious how much he cares, and I think you can see that everywhere in our locker room. And just a pro, a guy that you're not questioning whether he's completely in or not working hard enough. There's no doubt about any of that stuff. So, a guy you want to play for sure.
Hey, what's different? It feels different going down the stretch here with the NFC South race. Y'all been right there the last couple of years. And right there again this year.
I mean, like I just said earlier, when we were in a position, felt more comfortable, obviously with the record. I wouldn't say we were comfortable going into games thinking that we had anything made, but, we're tied with Tampa right now. We got the tiebreaker, but, there's a lot of games left. So, last few years in December, I think we were a little bit more behind trying to claw back in. Right now we're still in first, so there's something to be said for that. And we got to prove that we deserve to stay up there, so we got to win.
Jake, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were here when Sark was the OC.
I was, both years, yep.
SEC championship this weekend. He'll return back to the Benz. What can you say about him as just a coach?
I really enjoyed the time he was here. Great guy. Loved playing for him. Pissed off that his Longhorns beat my Aggies, but
I wasn't gonna bring it up.
But no, just he was a lot of fun to be around. Especially that was my 4th and 5th year. So earlier in my career, and excited to see how much success he's having.
You've been around a veteran quarterback in the past, obviously, in Matt Ryan, and now you're around Kirk. How much do you feel like it helps in these scenarios where there's a tight race for the division and you have someone leading the team that has been in a lot of different scenarios?
Yeah, he knows what it feels like. He knows what it takes to make it to the playoffs, and it's not his first go around. You know what I mean? So, we gotta be uplifting of each other. We also gotta trust that, hey, this guy's done it really well for a long time. So, let him do his thing.
I don't know every game you've ever played in. Have you ever played at US Bank Stadium?
I have, yes.
What do you recall about that atmosphere? Because a lot of people say it's one of the best.
Played there in 19 and 20. 20, there were no fans, so that was weird. But in 19, very loud. Yeah, great fan base. It's definitely going to be something we got to keep in mind with our cadence and all that kind of stuff. So we got a good plan for it and keep working on it because we know it's definitely going to be a challenge.
When the offense seems to be going through kind of like a little bit of a struggle or a funk right now, just kind of where has the mentality been leading into this game against Minnesota? Where's the confidence level right now?
Confidence never anywhere. It's more of a refocus thing. Reflect and get back to work. Get back to the drawing board. See what we're missing. See what we need to get done. And execute.
What do you feel like has been missing?
Execution. Finishing drives. We punted twice last week. Offensively, we was moving. We just had to finish drives and minimize the turnovers.
I don't want to seem like, I don't know, dumb about it, but when it comes to execution, like, it seems like you should be able to execute. So what's getting in the way of the execution?
Probably the details, and be on the same page. You know, the other team in the NFL too. So I mean, just having a better game plan, preparing a little better than you did the week before. You know, and I think every day we come here and compete, it's like, I mean, we right there, man. It's like I said, it's little things, and we got little things become big. I mean, you got to stop little things before they get big, and that's where we at right now. Just we still got the pen in our paper, so we still gonna write our own story. We just gotta come to work every day.
I know a lot of people have pointed to the red zone as something you guys want to get better at. What do you notice about not being able to put points up there in the red zone?
Executing. I don't think as a team we've just been dialed in when we get down there. I think we just get comfortable when we cross that 25, getting that green zone area, I would say. I feel like we just got to finish and that's what we got to be stronger at. We know we can move the ball. We know we got all the tools in the toolbox. It's just about finishing.
What do you notice about the way that Kirk carries himself all the time?
Poise, whether it's up or down, all his picks on him. Sometimes we, as a receiver unit, maybe just not just on the same page. You know, like everybody blames Kirk for this and that. And he's gonna take him being who he is. He's gonna take accountability for everything. You know, and having a vet quarterback like that, that's a lot to take. You know, and we love him. He's a vet. You know, he keep us going. Our job is to keep him going in times like this. You know, because he's a great quarterback. I love playing with him, and just he put us where we need to be at, and we just got to finish, man. As a team, it's not just him. As a team, the line got to block, the receivers got to catch, the running backs got to run, and we just got to do our job.
When you talk about the details and execution, I asked Raheem post-game on Sunday about just the stalling of the drives, and he said, you know, some of that might be old concepts, but some of it may be new concepts that we're struggling to execute on. How much of it is new concepts versus just maybe, how do I phrase it, like a lack in mentality in the midst of making a run or going through a play that you guys might be trying to execute?
Mentality is never missed. I think our whole offense is ready to go every time, mentality-wise. Again, I think with this new or old plays, you know, you got to win. You got to win that play. You got to win that drive. And like I said, we had multiple chances to win. Just got to finish. Like I said before, I mean, it's times we finish, it's times we don't. And right now, we're not finishing in the drive. And we still got 5 games to play in the regular season just to get right, because we know those type of games we're going to the playoffs, the last-minute drives. You got to finish. And so this is just building character for us, I feel like.
During the stretch, has there been anyone on offense that has kind of stood up and kind of been like, yo, like, let's talk. Like, let's have some real chats right now and look ourselves in the mirror and what we can do to be better?
As a receiver unit, I try to be that. I think me, Mooney, Drake, all of us try to push each other every drive. Because some drives it might end on Drake, it might end on me or Mooney. Or the linemen always keeping all of our mentalities right, because they gotta be on a different edge all the time. But for me, it's always positive energy. You know, it's the only way you move forward.
Do you think that it's unfair, some of the criticism Kirk gets with some of those interceptions?
I feel like that's every quarterback, though. Anytime an L happens, it falls on the quarterback, and that's where they get paid the big bucks, you know. And he doesn't run from it, and that's the one thing you gotta like appreciate from having a vet quarterback. He doesn't run from it. He actually runs into it, and that's why he's so able to bounce back like he does multiple times this year. But we don't look at it. That's the outside world. With practice, we know what we got and we know what we can do. We just got to go on the field and execute and do what we're here to do.
You said on your own, I love playing with Kirk Cousins. Why do you love playing with him?
The person he is, the spirit he brings in the huddle. Like I said, it's always positive. You're here a little bit straightening, but he's never going to disrespect you. He's going to make sure he's pushing you rather than bringing you down, you know, and always trying to get to another level. Not just himself, just everybody around him trying to get to another level. Always working on his own. Like when defense is going, we always working on new things, trying to see where be on each other's same page, you know. And so having a quarterback like that that's always want to work, you can't beat that.
As a 36-year-old quarterback, sometimes people make it out like, oh, the arm strength, like they're getting older. Like, have you noticed anything, or you feel like you still got it?
You got everything. Like I said, executing and doing on game day, just doing it consistent. I think that's another word I would play a big part in the offense, being consistent in everything we do.
Kyle, just what's been the conversation after a game where the offense just really didn't seem to be clicking and Kirk Cousins was coming off of one of his worst performances?
Just got to go back to the drawing board, view what the mistakes we had in the red zone, open field, procedural penalties, things like that, and just, work on it this week and, get ready for Sunday.
As a unit, do you guys as receivers and running backs and tight ends kind of take some of the blame yourself when you look at some of the turnovers, or have conversations with him that was on me, just to kind of, take the blame off of him a little bit, make him feel better?
I mean, yeah, definitely. It's not just one single person's fault. We all kind of play a part and, may have mistakes throughout the game. So just, being accountable and everybody just, doing what they need to do this week.
Do you feel like that his confidence is still absolutely strong? It's not wavering at all after?
I mean, yeah, definitely. We all sometimes have bad games, and it's just flush it and, work on to the next week.
What is the key moving forward to converting in the red zone? Getting back to where you're scoring touchdowns?
I would say it's just, honing in on the details that we have and, not having mistakes and, kind of hurting ourselves with penalties, things like that.
Can you pinpoint what has changed in these past 3 games that has caused these issues?
I wouldn't say pinpoint, but just, just penalties, I would say is one of the main things of just, not being locked in sometimes.
What's the sentiment going into this game as you guys have a 3-game losing streak and you certainly don't want to make it 4?
Not necessarily kind of thinking of it in a sense of a losing streak, I guess you'll say, but just, taking it game by game and, going into it trying to, fix our mental mistakes that we may have had previously and, not having this week.
Obviously you want to win every game, but do you guys feel, especially for Kirk, he's going back to Minnesota, kind of the pressure and the excitement, do you guys feel like we actually want to win this one for him as well, or anything like that, or talk to him about that? Or
I mean, yeah, you want to win every game, but not necessarily a specific opponent. I mean, for him, he may feel like that going to his previous team, but it'd be a pretty cool environment.
One thing that Rob was talking about is Kirk's really open and honest when it comes to good, bad, and different. What have you noticed about the way that he carries himself regardless of what's happening?
Yeah, just, like I said, just pretty open-minded. Everybody kind of knows, what we're doing, and just being able to, everybody accept their flaws and, what we did and the different mistakes we had, and just, come back to next week, getting it right.
Okay, when you're looking at the tape for the Chargers, you said different mistakes we had. What stands out to you about what you guys want to get better at?
Just, in all 3 phases, but in offense specifically, just, getting to the red zone, you just put points on the board.